Hello everyone, my name is Antonio Rodriguez of Ideas South Flores, and today's video will be part 2 of the music theory portion. So, in the last video, we actually already covered the major and minor, the differences between them. Major happy and minor sad. And then we also went on and finally started explaining the difference between the regular alphabet and then the musical alphabet, which is just from A to G. Now, of course, in musical terms, we don't really start on A, but we start on C. And then I gave the solfeggios for all those: do, to re, to mi, to fa, to sol, to la, to ti, to then returning back to do. And then we also even talked about bass clef and seeing the notes, plotting them, and then also the treble notes, and then plotting them and even playing them on the piano. Now, for this video, we're actually going to take it a step further, and it's actually going to be a little bit more complex, because now we already went over basic English stuff with the alphabet in the first section. Now the second section, we're actually going to go on into the music notation part, which now, the reason why it's more complex, because it's now adding math, and very, very basic math. So, but we still need to pay attention to be able to hit all the fine points and hit all the perfect durations. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this section right here and differentiate all of the notes and all of the rhythms, because now this is the rhythm part of music, the complex part. So starting first with the easiest note that you're probably ever going to see or even play, we have the whole note, which is equal to 4 beats worth of music. So I'm actually going to click the beats right now in my left hand, and then with my right hand I'm going to play the duration. Okay, so my left hand will be clicking, then my right hand will be playing the note. So right now this is the little circle, and this is equal to 4 beats. And that's it. You stop after the 4th click. Now, going on into the next one, now we're going to go down in duration, because 4, that's usually going to be the longest one you're going to see. Then you're actually going to see just them tied to each other, so 4 plus 4, and then stuff like that. So if anything, this is going to be the smallest or the largest thing that you're actually going to see in music notation. From there, we're going to go down further to a half note. Now, both of these are actually half notes, and this is when you actually see a stem come out, just like in music. But the difference between these two is this one actually has a dot with it, which gives it a little bit more duration in musical terms. So now, instead of 4 beats for the whole note, we're now going to do 3 beats for a half note, but not just a half note, a dotted half note. Make sure to always be prepared and look at those little fine things on the music. That's a dot. So it's equal to 3, not a regular half note, which is equal to 2. I'm going to demonstrate for you right now a dotted half note worth 3 beats. Okay, so I gave 4 clicks at the end to demonstrate to you and show you that I had to stop the note on the 3rd beat, because the last click was technically the 4th beat that the whole note would have played to, but we weren't playing a whole note. We were playing a dotted half note, which was equal to 3 beats. Okay, so now let's go further and take away more duration. Now we're going to take away that little dot and play a half note. Okay, so now this is a half note, and if you notice, it's going down in numbers. So whole, then dotted half, then take away the dot, and it's just half. Okay, so now this is equal to 2. So whole 4, half 2 beats. Okay, now let me demonstrate to you a half note. Now this one, I still played, of course, the 4 clicks, but only played the note for 2 beats worth of it. Okay, now let's go on further, since it's pretty basic, right? Now we're going to go on to, we already did whole notes, dotted half notes, half notes. Now let's go down further to quarter notes. Now if you think about it, music is just really defined by that, by whole, half, and then quarter. So if you were to put 4 quarters together for one beat, then you'd have what's equal to a whole note. Okay? So now let me demonstrate for you how a half or how a quarter note would sound with its clicks. See, they are only equal to 1 click. So as soon as I just snapped one finger, that's equal to that one snap. That's a quarter note. Okay? Equal to 1 beat. Now this is where it kind of gets a little bit more complex. Now, because instead of just subtracting just one beat, now we're actually going to start dividing. Now, just how like this was breaking down in twos, so from the whole to half equal to 2, then the half to quarter, another 2 breaking down. Now we're actually going to go from the quarter to eighth note, which now the eighth note is equal to half a beat. And that's the reason why I put 2 eighth notes right here, which is what's common in music. And that is equal to 1 beat, because you need 2 halves to make 1 whole. Okay? So I'm going to demonstrate really fast for you just what 1 eighth note would sound like with the clicks. 1. Super fast, right? Like super fast. Now, what we're going to go over now is 2 of the notes, okay? 2 of the notes. And when it's 2 of them, 2 halves make 1 whole. So now, let's hear how 2 eighth notes sound. So now 2 of the notes fit into 1 of the clicks, okay? So that's all it is. That's the reason why it's divided, because now you have to be able to fit 2 eighth notes to be able to get the same as 1 for a quarter note. Okay. Now let's go even further to a little bit more complex, and this is probably going to be the cap of what y'all see within y'all's music, which is now 16th notes. Now this is even half of the half. Now it's 1/4 of a beat. So now you need 4 of them to be able to equal to 1. So if we were to play that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, one more time. Okay, so technically I gave 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the 5th note actually dropped onto the 2nd beat. 3, 4. So the first one actually had, but by the time I clicked the second one, that 5th beat hit. One more time. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 5 is now on the next beat, because the first beat only contains 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's the reason why it's called a 16th note, because there's 16 within 4 beats. Okay? And that's all about the durations of notes. Now from here, we're going to look at the rest, because rests are much easier. These are things that you're not even going to really have to interact with, because it's a rest. You don't play it right here. But they are still good to know, because you want to know how long will you be even resting, how long will you be waiting before you come in. So right here, just like we have up here, you have this, which is a whole rest, and its little square points down, and that's equal to 4 beats that you don't play. Then this is a half rest, which now the point is going upwards, the square, and that's now, instead of 3, it's only 2 beats. Now, once again, if we were to add that little dot to that, then it could be 3 beats, because we're adding a duration. Does that make sense with the dot? The dot just adds whatever this is, but half. So that's the reason why a quarter note, you add that dot, it's not equal to 2, because a quarter is only equal to 1. So what's half of 1? Half. So that's the reason why a quarter, a dot for that would only add half. But for a half note, half of 2 is 1. So it adds 1 whole beat from what a half note would be. See? Okay. Same thing right here. If you were to see a dotted, I didn't include it here because they are not common that often, but it might happen, just in case you know. Now we get into the quarter rest, which is super common. You're gonna see these a lot. So they're equal to 1 beat, quarter, and then these are the last ones that you will see. This is called the 8th rest, which is equal to half resting. And then this is a 16th rest, which is equal to 1/4 of a resting time period. Okay. Now, in the next section, we are going to go over the clef signatures and then arpeggios and using them within the circle of fifths to understand that. This has been part 2. Thank you.